consultant, working very closely now with Joe Rogers and the Lawyers for Liberty, John Rogers, and a whole host of lawyers and medical professionals. You may have seen I posted about it today. We're reviewing a document this weekend, a very important white paper document, which outlines a lot of the things I've talked about here in terms of the flawed measurements, because our first basis, our first way of tackling this situation is to start with a foundation of truth based around the data, because at this moment in time we've got the testing protocols which are basically predicating the entire pandemic based upon that flawed definition of cases that I shared with you earlier on. And if anyone is skeptical on that, here's one thing I'd encourage you to search for after this broadcast. Go onto Google and type in asymptomatic flu NHS into Google, and you'll see that the NHS report shows that 75% of people of flu cases are asymptomatic. Okay, 75% according to the NHS. You can look for other studies which will show 80%. But we don't do these high-scale testing regimens for influenza because it's almost an entirely pointless activity, a waste of money and time and resources. We just accept that within respiratory conditions such as influenza, other influenza-like illnesses, other coronaviruses, that a high proportion of them will be asymptomatic as our bodies produce natural antibodies to deal with the pathogen and creates an immune response which enables us to remain healthy. Whilst asymptomatic individuals can pass on viruses, the vast majority of evidence, not only for COVID-19 but influenza, shows that that proportion is exceptionally small. For COVID-19, of 12 medical papers that I've read, between 0% and 2.3% transmission rate for asymptomatic. That radically rises if you're symptomatic, and being symptomatic, I'm talking about coughing, fever. Your loss of taste and smell is a bit more subjective because this time of year people are bunged up anyway, so it's a bit harder to discern as a symptom. But certainly, those who are coughing, high fever, it's the same as any illness. If you've got visible, noticeable symptoms of a sickness, you're more likely to actually pass on a virus or illness. So, be good to each other and stay at home if you're unwell. Happy days, hallelujah. So once again, I will wrap up. It was a positive event today, peaceful, enjoyable festival experience, strategically enacted at the beginning, so the arrest took place right at the outset in front of the cameras, which will form the headlines tomorrow and Monday, and that will be the story in the press, whilst everyone else is scratching their heads going, hang on a minute, yeah, I did see those arrests, but actually everyone else was having a great jolly old time and spreading the word. I understand why it's done, as I mentioned, but it's really important that we continue. And I say I've come to learn that the mark of a good protest is how many people come to the next one. And